The history begins with the narration explaining that the dungeons are portals that open themselves from nothing. Inside these portals exist countless dangerous monsters that threaten the whole world, but also are a battlefield for the hunters that fight against these creatures. Already have passed 10 years since this began, and the hunters evolved to adapt themselves. With the time, the society got used to them, but the conflict still scared everyone. To become a hunter only existed one way, that was to be chosen by a tower mysterious. All the future heroes are summoned to the tower even before awakening their abilities. The more experienced say that it is necessary to climb the highest possible to achieve great power. However, more than 80% of the people do not manage even to pass the tutorial. The rank of someone is defined by the floor that he manages to reach in this place so dangerous. So in this moment we see a hunter mysterious that is about to face the 60th floor. Thus we meet our protagonist, and he already is exhausted and injured but continues on his feet and determined. Suddenly the scene changes to outside of the tower, and there is a boy that is looking at his cell phone completely shocked. On the screen he is seeing the broadcast of the hunter rank S Kim Han-sung and asks himself how this can be fair. The reason for the surprise is that this hunter is one of the few who managed to reach the 61st floor. With a look determined, he thinks of his parents while he remembers the tragic end they had. Following that, he remembers his friends that also are gone and smiles with an expression of pain. The young man believes that if he could go to the tower, his life of suffering could finally change. But he returns to reality suddenly upon taking a strong slap on the head that leaves him very dizzy. A guy with his friends fights with him and tells him to stop looking at the cell phone all the time. He calls him an idiot and continues to push his head with his finger in a way aggressive. Thus he warns the our boy to work right, if not want to be fired and thrown to outside of the group. One of the colleagues apologizes for the rudeness, but our boy just smiles and says that there is no problem. However, as soon as the boy himself turns, the our boy closes the face and clenches the fist with anger. Then the group gets up and prepares itself to enter a dungeon, and the bully seems confident. Thus they begin to walk through the forest, and our boy has to carry a backpack very heavy. He keeps asking himself why they send him to go in front and thinks if they will use him as a human shield. Then in this moment, that same colleague that defended him before gives a smile very strange and scary to him. Thus the our boy feels a little relieved for having that guy on his team, but something is about to happen. In this moment he is kicked hard from the back and falls on the ground without understanding what happened. But when our boy fell on the ground, the impact makes a small sphere roll to far from him. When he gets up, he gets furious, then asks the group what they think they are doing. In this moment the traitors activate a barrier of mana so that he cannot escape. The guy who kicked him starts to record everything and says that it has been a while since they had a fighting ring. Then the guy announces the fight between the carrier of hair orange and a monster that approaches. Soon after, a pack of dogs monstrous of 1 star appears growling at the boy. Then the traitor asks for the people to bet and make donations to help their channel. Thus in this moment the our boy finally realizes that he was deceived and that everything was a trap to earn money. It happens that a fighting ring is when someone is trapped with a monster to fight until the death. In this way the our boy in thought says that this practice is illegal and that even if he wins they will not let him leave alive. Trembling with anger, he remembers the high payment and understands that it was too good to be true. One of the dogs, demonic, steps hard on the ground and prepares itself for the attack along with the pack. Then the creatures advance all together in the direction of the boy that is cornered. Without many options, he draws a small dagger to try to defend himself from the attack of the creatures. But during the attack, one of the beasts manages to scratch his arm, leaving a wound serious. He gets terrified and asks himself how he could fight against all those monsters alone. With this, one of the creatures jumps in his direction and leaves him cornered against the barrier. Meanwhile, the traitors continue recording and encourage the our boy because they are betting on him. With a monster over him, one of the guys yells at him, telling him not to stand still like an idiot. In this moment, the bully asks if he will become monster food in the same way as his family. Upon hearing this, the our boy gets furious and clenches his teeth with much force and hatred. Then he faces the traitors and says that all of them will pay for what they did today. But the group just laughs and keeps mocking the our boy, and this group keeps saying that in truth it is he who will die in this place. Ignoring the provocation, the young man takes a small object that was hidden in his clothing. Then he activates the item and a wave of energy spreads, leaving all the traitors confused. The dogs monstrous are attracted by the noise of the object and begin to get very agitated. The leader of the group despairs and yells for the our boy to stop with that immediately. But the our boy brings the whistle to his mouth while the extra tells him to drop that and fight. Seeing that he was not going to stop, one of these traitors advances to try to take the object from his hand. However, before he gets close, one of the beasts jumps and bites with force the arm of this boy. In this moment, the guy gets in panic upon seeing the entire pack of dogs monstrous surrounding him. It doesn't take long, the other two also are surrounded and realize that they have no chance against so many monsters. With a smile victorious, the our boy shows the whistle and repeats that they will die today. Thus he faces the pack with a look firm while the dogs bark, waiting for his command. However, one of the monsters turns and advances against the boy, showing that he is not safe. The our boy manages to react in time and plunges his dagger into the creature that attacked him by surprise. But he has no time to recover because another dog bites his shoulder with force, injuring him. The scene shows the ground covered with marks of the battle bloody that just happened. Fallen on the ground and very injured, the our boy seems to have reached his limit. Then in this moment we see the bodies of the traitors scattered on the ground along with some dogs slain. However, the boy also is fallen and surrounded by the beasts that survived the confrontation. One of the creatures bites his leg while he no longer has strength to continue fighting. The young man thinks that he did everything to survive, but it seems that it was not enough. His vision begins to darken and he understands that that is his end. He feels resigned for having gotten his revenge before his life ended. Just when everything seemed lost, a light appears in the darkness and a message warns that the conditions were met. Then a trail brilliant involves him and a hand appears while another window informs him that he was summoned by the tower. This light guides him to the base of the tower and he finally gets his wish in the moment of his death. Not takes long, the our boy wakes up lying on a carpet red and realizes that is in a place unknown. With the eyes wide, he gets shocked with the situation and does not understand anything of what happened. Then he gets up in a jump and looks around completely scared with all that. In this moment the young man has a quick flashback of the fight bloody that led him to the brink of death. Then he looks at his body and realizes that he is alive, asking himself how this would be possible. Following that, a window of system appears and informs him that he was summoned by the Great Tower. Then he understands that he was revived inside the tower using some type of coin special. Inside the tower everyone receives coins that serve for many things. These coins are the only thing that can save the hunters from certain death in this place. One of them falls on the ground and an energy bluish involves a body, bringing it back to life. However, not all receive the same amount and one only discovers the value of them at the end of the tutorial. Then in this moment a screen appears and gives the welcome to the our boy for he finally arriving at the tower. Thus the system informs that he is on the first floor and the tutorial happens from the floors 1 to 5. And also says that his mission from now on is very simple and he needs only to clear the floors to go up. Then the our boy touches the screen and thinks that with the notifications everything seems much more real now. In this, the our boy thinks that he prepared himself a lot for this moment, studying everything about the tower. He also exercised himself a lot and now the chance perfect finally appeared for him. In this moment before him a portal opens itself and the young man knows that he needs to concentrate himself for the challenge. With this he gives a step forward, determined to not fail in his first mission. When he feels himself ready, says that he cannot let this opportunity escape through his fingers. Then the our boy is teleported to a forest that is the first floor of the tower. Not takes long, a goblin appears in his path and a mission tells him to defeat the creature. In this moment the our boy smiles and thinks that it is exactly like the information from the government and from the guild said, but the creature makes a gesture with the hand calling him to the fight with a smile. Strange. Our boy gets irritated with the audacity of the monster and clenches his teeth with much anger. Without losing time he steps hard on the ground and advances in the direction of the small creature green. Then the our boy draws his dagger and says that he will give to the monster a passage quick from this to a better place. With a jump he prepares himself to attack the goblin that seems scared with the blow. Then the our boy hits the creature squarely, causing a great impact on the small monster. After defeating the enemy, the our boy spins his dagger with skill and feels confident. Thus he immobilizes the monster on the ground and raises his dagger to give the final blow. With a movement quick, the our boy pierces the chest of the creature without any mercy. Not takes long and a window of the system warns that the goblin was defeated and the floor was completed. Then he soon gets up and thinks that this first fight was not so difficult like that. While cleaning his dagger he concludes that the battle was not at all complicated. But suddenly another goblin appears and attacks him from the back with a blow fatal. With the eyes wide, the our boy gets shocked and does not believe in what just happened. He falls on the ground and realizes that there was one more enemy that he had not noticed. The creature smiles in a way evil while holding the dagger that it used in the attack. While he is fallen and injured, the our boy remembers that the mission said that there was only one monster. With this, the our boy closes his eyes, frustrated for having been deceived once more. Then in this moment a coin golden then appears and a message warns that he was moved to a point safe. And when he blinks his eyes he returns to the beginning and understands that he was revived using one of his coins. Thus he gets up furious because the guide of the tutorial said there was only a single goblin. And with a smile suspicious he himself asks if this means something important. Then he realizes that the government and the guilds are spreading information false on purpose. The our boy does not know what their plan is but says that for now there is nothing that he can do. And with a look determined, the our boy decides that it is time to continue climbing the tower. Then after 3 hours waiting in the forest he asks himself why the monster has not appeared yet. Thus the our boy thinks that if he acts without care he will be caught in another ambush and needs to be cautious. Suddenly a noise in the bush leaves him on alert maximum, ready for anything. Then a goblin appears dancing and the our boy realizes that his target finally arrived. In this way he decides to follow the creature but does not realize that another monster observes him from afar. The small monster enters a construction enormous and the Our Boy continues following the creature in a way stealthy. Inside there he sees the two goblins together and recognizes the one that attacked him before. Thus Our Boy gets confused upon seeing the creatures looking at an object bluish and strange. Then he notes that it is a statue and remembers that there should not be items in the tutorial. In this he remembers the interview of the hunter Kim Han-sung talking about treasures hidden. And with a look firm the Our Boy prepares himself to fight and decides to see what that item is. But without thinking twice the Our Boy advances with his dagger in hands to attack the monsters. The goblin gets surprised and starts to scream to try to warn its tribe that there is an intruder in the place. Then with an attack surprise the adventurer lands a blow fatal on one of the monsters without hesitating. Thus the other goblin gets nervous and turns to see who is it that is attacking them but soon gets surprised. In this moment the monster that got him before gets in shock and does not understand how this happened so fast, but the boy raises his dagger and says that this is his revenge. Following that he finishes the creature with a blow quick and precise without giving chance of reaction. Thus a window warns that the two goblins were defeated and the first floor was concluded. And with the area safe the Our Boy approaches the mysterious object bluish in the center. Then he touches the statue and concludes that the monsters were protecting it for some reason. Upon taking the item it starts to shine intensely and emits an energy very strong. This energy involves the entire body of the Our Boy while he holds the statue with firmness. But suddenly the object starts to crack and breaks itself into several pieces small in his hand. Then a notification warns that he was the first to get the statue of Lunati's among all. In this way the young man discovers that he completed a mission secret called the Hand of Lunati's. And as a reward the system blesses him for starting his journey and grants him a new power. A great light descends from the skies with symbols magical him blessing with his new power. In this a window warns that he received the Power Star Observer Eye of rank S. The eye of the Our Boy shines and the system explains that now he can see information hidden. With the mouth open the boy gets in shock upon discovering that his new power is of rank S. He remembers that the highest classification known was of rank AAA of the famous hunter Kim Han-sung. The Our Boy then realizes that his new ability is even more strong and gets very excited. He asks himself how to use this power and reads again the description about information hidden. Then the young man tests the ability and a message confirms that there are no more rewards there. And with a smile the Our Boy thinks that with this he will be able to collect all the items secret of the tower. Then full of confidence the Our Boy decides that it is time to advance to the next floor of the tower. But as soon as he arrives on the second floor an arrow hits him by surprise getting him in his shoulder. And with the eyes wide the Our Boy cannot believe what just happened to him. But even injured he runs desperately to stay far from the figure that attacked him by surprise. And without thinking twice and continues as fast as he can to not be hit again. While is running with the arrow in the shoulder he shouts that the guilds and the government are some traitors. Then the Our young man irritated himself asks why the guide not mentioned that the kobolds could use weapons. And even knowing that the guide is all wrong he ended up trusting in the information again. With the hand on the shoulder injured he clenches his teeth and regrets having been so careless again. And before anything else the young man decides that he needs to take care first of the wound to be able to get to fight. Then he uses a potion of healing and the wound closes itself quickly leaving him more relieved. In this moment the Our Boy thinks that the monster will find him soon and forms a plan while touching something sticky. Scared he looks at his hand and sees a sap golden covering all his fingers. His ability Ocular is activated and informs him that that is sap of tree and that it hides odors. Then the Our Boy gets surprised and understands that his power seeks information based on what he needs. And with a new plan in mind he clenches his fist and feels himself ready for the hunt. In this moment the cobalt sniffs the air confused for not being able to find its prey. Then the creature looks up but does not notice the Our Boy hidden on the branch of the tree. Taking advantage of the distraction of the monster the Our Boy jumps from the tree for an attack surprise. The enemy canine gets shocked upon seeing the Our Boy falling in its direction from nothing. And with a blow accurate he hits the creature with his dagger finishing the fight quickly. And with a look furious the boy clenches his teeth and prepares himself for the final blow. Then with a movement quick he finishes the monster canine without any mercy. Then the system rewards him with 300 points and praises his tactic with the sap of tree. In this moment a new window appears and tells him to get the nail of the finger ring left of the cobalt. Then the Our Boy looks at the paw of the creature and sees the nail shining asking himself what he will win. And without hesitating the young man pulls out the nail of the monster and keeps it to use later. With everything he needs a portal opens itself and the system warns that the floor too is safe. Besides this he also is rewarded with food and water for his work hard on the floor. But while he eats he remembers that something important happens after clearing this phase. Thus a notification warns that as a reward he now can access the community online. In this moment a screen giant opens itself showing a forum with many messages from other hunters. Then he reads a user complaining that the guide lied about there being only one goblin. And with the eyes wide the Our Boy realizes that he was not the only one to be deceived. but the other users accuse him of lying and say that there was only a single monster. Then the Hour Boy gets confused with the reactions and sees that nobody believes the player who told the truth. Then the boy decides that he will try to say something in the community to test a theory. In this way he needs to create a nickname and chooses the name of Princess Inya for his profile. And with a fairy as avatar he sends a message cute to everyone in the tutorial. Then the Hour Boy posts a guide true about the first floor to call attention. Soon several players respond and confirm that they also faced more than one goblin. And with a smile satisfied he realizes that his plan worked and can even find allies. Then the Hour Boy decides that he needs to advance fast to continue posting tips. And with this he enters the portal and is teleported directly to the 3rd floor of the tower. There his mission is very clear and he needs only to pass through all the traps. Thus the Hour Boy gets with the eyes wide with fear upon discovering the new challenge. Suddenly jets of fire come out of the walls almost burning him alive in the corridor. And with the mouth open in fright he dodges by little and feels the heat of the flames. Following that several spears sharp are shot in his direction without notice previous. He throws himself on the ground and the spears pass scraping by him embedding themselves in the wall. Looking around the young man realizes that the corridor entire is full of traps deadly. Seated on the floor he remembers that the guide false told to open the arms to analyze everything. And with this the Hour Boy realizes that the tip was a lie to make the hunters lose their hands. But with a look determined his eye shines and he says that he will not be caught so easily. Then his ability Star Observer Eye is activated to deal with the danger ahead. The energy bluish of the power ocular analyzes the entire corridor in search of a path safe. In this moment symbols magical surround him and reveal the path safe through the corridor. And with a smile victorious a window warns that all the traps were located. But in this moment the Hour Boy starts to run through the corridor dodging from pendulums giant and blades flying. Upon passing through the portal the system warns that the floor is safe and rewards him with points. Exhausted on the ground he complains that the tutorial of the tower was made to be difficult too much. But he receives a lunchbox special that increases his recovery and leaves him surprised. While eating the boy thinks how the traps of that floor were very malicious. Then the Hour Boy remembers when a clock giant almost fell to crush him completely. But following that an explosion of fire appeared from nothing and almost burned the adventurer. He also dodged from knives and only survived because of his ability special. In this moment the Hour Boy looks at the food and sees that the yolk of the egg has the shape of a star. Suddenly a noise calls his attention and he stops eating to see what happened. Then a window of status appears and he remembers that now he can finally see his attributes. Thus he realizes that his attributes are normal but his mana is higher than the expected. With a smile evil he understands that his true talent is in the power magical. Then the Hour Boy gives one more bite in the food accepting his new potential with confidence. Determined he opens the community and sees the area residential of the floor 30 as an objective. Leaving this place we go to a city big and modern full of buildings tall and illuminated. Meanwhile in another place we see a cigarette lit releasing smoke slowly. This is Choi Sangmo, a rookie of the guild Tiger Lord that worries himself with his money. Then this person remembers that the chief of the guild tried to end him for knowing too much. And with much anger the man of scars hits the hand on the table and laments himself frustrated. Suddenly a subordinate enters running and asks if he saw the post in the community. The guy goes right away warning that a user mysterious is causing problems in the channel of the tutorial. Irritated the veteran asks to see what is happening because he already has much work. Then he starts to read the guide of Princess Inya about how to pass the 3rd floor. As soon as he sees the post debunking the guide false the expression of the hunter starts to change. His eyes shine with fury upon reading the post calling the guilds of evil. With a punch explosive the man breaks the table and leaves his helper terrified. Seeing this happen the little guy gets with much fear and stutters without knowing what to say about the fury of the boss. Then the leader orders that all his men find the responsible behind the post. In this way the subordinate leaves running from the room to fulfill the order while the chief observes him go. Thus the hunter of scars boils with anger thinking that he can lose his head for this problem. With the eyes full of hatred he swears that he will find and finish with whoever posted that. Returning to the inside of the tower the Hour Boy feels that someone is talking about him and an announcement appears. And the system congratulates him for helping others and awards him with the title of strategist. Then the Hour Boy spits his drink shocked upon discovering that the title evolves with his strategies. He gets amazed because titles are rare and essential for the best hunters. Very happy for having written the guide he decides to check the comments of the other players. Then the Hour Boy sees many comments positive from people that almost died on the 3rd floor. With a smile satisfied he believes that the answers positive are because of his posts. Then the Hour Boy imagines how are the players and thinks about joining them in the future. But his face changes upon seeing a comment negative from a member of the guild Tiger Lord. Then he sees more users from the same guild calling his post of information false and useless. Thus the Hour Boy asks himself if they are with fear of being caught spreading lies. With a smile evil he decides that he will expose all their scams without mercy. Meanwhile the ashtray of the chief of the guild overflows and he swears that he will hunt him. The hour boy gets quite excited only and the leader of the guild is quite irritated, but the hour boy promises to get stronger than him. Back to the third floor, his eye finds a passage secret called Well of Hell. The floor breaks itself and he screams in fright while falling into a hole full of fire. After the fall he finds several items like a gem arcane and a spring of device, and he also gets a scroll of flames and a stone to illuminate the next floor. With the items in the backpack he arrives on the fourth floor and starts to climb a cliff enormous. On the top of the mountain the system warns him to pull out a tree blue and win something good. With a smile wide on his face he celebrates for having found one more secret. Then he laughs hysterically while the system congratulates him and he curses the guild's lying. Exhausted he complains that the guide false did not warn that the weight of the items increased while he climbed the cliff. Suddenly some items fall from his bag and one of them rolls on the floor calling his attention. The gem arcane shines and reveals the name John Trailer written on its surface. The hour boy gets confused and asks himself why the hell there is a name written on the stone of mana. Then he takes the item and reads the name in voice loud trying to understand what that means. Soon the system explains that John Trailer was a sage that created homunculi to climb the tower. Then he keeps questioning himself about the record of the floor 64 and the mysterious John Trailer. In this he looks at the tower and thinks that it perhaps is more old than everyone imagines. Then scratching the head the hour boy reflects on all the mysteries that he just discovered there. Then he decides that to think is no use and starts to pack his backpack to leave soon. With this he resolves that he will discover more secrets while advancing through the next floors. Full of determination he faces the portal of the last floor of the tutorial ready to win. Upon entering the fifth floor his mission is to defeat a boss and find boxes of ability. In this moment the system rewards him in advance for his effort and releases his window of skills. With a smile the young man thinks that it will be easy because with abilities everyone stays on the same level. But the system checks his attributes and notes the equipment and power of rank S that he possesses. Then he gets shocked because discovers that the boss will be based on his level and the difficulty rises. Suddenly an enormous warrior merman of 3 stars is summoned in front of him. Thus he gets quite terrified and shouts desperately without knowing how to fight against that. In this moment the screen of the system describes the creature half human and half fish with scales blue and a trident. With a face full of dread he screams without believing that he needs to fight against a monster of 3 stars. In this moment the creature roars furiously and advances with everything in the direction of our boy. The monster attacks with its trident but the our boy dodges by little falling on the ground scared. Following that the monster brings down a punch with much force but the our boy ducks to not be hit. Panting the our boy asks himself if this monster is really a version weaker because it is very strong. Without giving time to breathe the aberration advances again on top of our boy with much anger. Thus the our boy realizes that he cannot fight in this way and decides that he needs to find the abilities. In this the system warns that all the boxes of ability of that floor were located. Then the our boy sees that there exist 2 boxes of rank low and 2 of rank very low nearby. He also realizes that the box of rank medium is very far and decides to get the ones closer. With a plan in mind he runs to the 2 boxes of rank low hoping for something useful. Then the our boy extends the hand in direction to the items and shouts for them to open themselves immediately. Meanwhile the warrior fish turns itself without understanding from where came all that smoke. The our boy smiles because the ability smoke of rank F is perfect to hide oneself from the enemy. Not takes long and the warrior fish roars with anger and the our boy takes the chance to run from there. With the new ability run he complains that the smoke from before disappears too fast. Without time to lose he advances in direction to the next box of ability. In this way he manages to reach his objective and breathes relieved for a brief moment. But the monster jumps very high and prepares itself to crush the young man with its trident. The weapon of the creature hits the ground with a force brutal and opens a large crater. But in this moment the our boy is caught by the monster giant that looks at him with anger. Scared with the speed of the monster he realizes that he needs to be faster. Then he draws his dagger and prepares himself to attack the creature by surprise. And with a cry of war the our boy throws his blade at the enemy using all his strength. Then the warrior fish roars with pain and fury while it turns to face the adventurer. The creature spins with violence and attacks the young man with a blow that destroys the ground. In this the boy is thrown too far by the impact and hits with force on the soil. Fallen and unarmed the our boy faces the monster that approaches slowly him. Then the enemy raises its trident and prepares itself to give the final blow on the boy. The system then warns that the box of ability of rank medium was opened with success. And with a smile victorious the our boy thanks the creature for having thrown him near the item. In this way he gets very happy upon getting the bomb of fire and ability of attack rank B. However, the monster with anger just kicks him with all its force, and the only thing that the young man does is just defend himself. But in this way the young man is thrown too far and only stops when he hits a mountain. The kick of the monster was so strong and violent that it made the adventurer open a hole in this mountain. Hidden there inside, the our boy complains that the enemy does not give him time to celebrate. The creature roars and runs to the cave, but the our boy activates an item blue bright. Suddenly a jet of liquid blue shoots from the item and hits the leg of the monster. In this way the warrior fish gets confused because it feels its leg trapped and cannot move itself. Then the our boy smiles and asks if it hurts while he traps the foot of the creature with his new weapon. The aberration lets out a scream sharp of pain, feeling the attack in its body enormous. Unbalanced, the enemy tries to attack but barely manages to keep itself on its feet at the moment. And with a look evil, the our boy warns that that was just the beginning of his plan. Following that, he launches his bomb of fire that explodes and swallows the monster completely. The flame explodes intensely while the fire of the ability consumes everything around. The warrior fish falls to its knees with a hole in the chest and its trident on the ground. Then the our boy approaches and complains about the smell of fish burnt in the air. And with the hand in flames, he says that fire is the best way to deal with a fish out of water. Following that, the boy launches another bomb of fire and says goodbye to the monster with a smile. And with the enemy in flames, the system him congratulates for defeating an opponent unbeatable. In this way he wins 1,500 points and falls on the ground exhausted, but gets happy for having won. The young man celebrates with the arms up, shouting that he does not believe that he managed to win. Then the system warns that it will calculate his reward for passing the 5th floor. Suddenly a light strong in shape of a star appears in the sky and calls his attention. The light gets each time more strong and dazzles the vision of the our boy with its shine intense. Then he covers the face with the hand to protect himself from the brightness that comes from above. Something then falls from the sky and hits the our boy right in the middle of his face. Then the our boy holds the object strange and slimy without understanding what the hell is that. Shocked, he realizes that he is holding a frog giant that stares back at him. In this moment the system announces that the reward is an animal of estimation, and our boy complains, what type of prize is this? The frog jumps on the ground and the our boy observes it without understanding right what is happening. In this a screen explains that it is a frog of chaos and that currently it is stronger than the owner. Then he shouts shocked and points to the creature without believing that it is stronger than him. While the critter yawns, the system warns that animals can attack owners weaker. Terrified, the our boy asks himself if the frog can bite him and confirms that he is the weaker one. Then the new pet then spits a goo purple that flies quickly in direction to the ground. Thus the liquid hits a rock that was there near and starts to bubble in a way strange. With a hiss scary, the rock melts completely and turns into a puddle purple on the ground. Looking at the scene, the our boy concludes that that little critter is really stronger than him. He says that he is still the owner and that they do not need to stay together while he gets something from the bag. And with the trident of the monster in hands, he says goodbye and wishes a good life for the frog there. Then the our boy turns to go away, but the amphibian stays still, just observing him. The creature of estimation tilts its head to the side, seeming confused with the situation. Sweating cold, the young man worries and asks himself if the critter will spit on him also. Suddenly the little frog jumps on the shoulder of the boy, who gets surprised with the action unexpected. With a smile, convinced, the our boy understands that the small amphibian chose him. Then he proposes an agreement of respect, mutual, and a partnership for the new companion. And with this both are enveloped by a light blue, and the system them congratulates for passing the tutorial. Following that, the restrictions are removed and a message asks for him to follow the guide of instructions. Upon arriving on the 6th floor, he sees himself in a city full of people and celebrates for having succeeded.